Here's the editor window. The list browser is on the left, where we are seeing the different folders underneath the examples folders. This area here is the main part of the window, the list editor. Underneath are some controls for searching through all of the lists in the user folder. At the bottom is an output window where messages are shown, results of analysis tools, or errors if they happen. Some of the controls above that are grayed out will be talked about in other parts of the video. Now let's take a look at the List Explorer. We'll click the Explorer button and we see a File Explorer style view of the user's list folder. As many lists can be stored here as you want. In this default starting view, the user only has the basic examples folder with its subfolders, etc. In this view, we can work with lists and folders like we do in a storage drive or another cloud storage. Double-click to go into examples, then into the travel folder. Click the plus document icon to create a new list, and then type a name for it. We can also start a new list based on a copy of another list. To do this, click the copy icon with the list selected, and then the paste icon, and then you can press either Control-V or right-click menu and paste. It has this default new name, so let's give it a better one. Click once to select the icon, and then click again on the text to where it's highlighted, and then you can type in the new name. And you can do this with a folder also. We just created that to show how, so let's get rid of it now. With it highlighted, click the delete icon and OK in the confirmation box. The top bar contains navigation tools with the back arrow at left, the up arrow to go up one folder, and also the path is shown in the middle, and you can select any folder in that path to jump there. Files and folders can be dragged and dropped, and also dropped in the path bar like so. Create a new folder. Move it inside another folder, and of course when you do that, all of its subfolders and lists move with it. We can also move things using a cut and paste method like folder, paste it here, and it moves here. Let's delete this example folder. So now we'll go back to the main editor view and notice that the new travel list we created is visible in the browser under travel here. Okay, we will skip ahead and get rid of that new list file we created. And in the browser, select the main travel list in order to show the details of the editor window, which is where the lists are written and modified. So this list has a lot of markdown elements and color highlighting. Everything in black is normal text that shows up in the result at the end. The blue lines are links to other lists in the user folder. Having a lot of these links makes sense here, since this is our starting point and we can just look at each link name and get an idea of the different components or categories of what we are packing for travel. It's almost like a table of contents. Let's open another list in the browser of preparation tasks for the day before. We have a few conditionals in yellow if we are traveling by air. Check in prior to this flight. The section in green represents a prompt that the user sees when generating this list. They will see a prompt that asks if they were traveling by air. None of the green text or any other color text will exist in the final output checklist. Let's add a new line here just to show the undo feature. Notice that many controls are disabled until the changes are saved. The top right search button is for searching through the currently open list, and we can do a search and replace as well. The search controls below the editor are for searching all the lists in the user folders. Let's search for airline, but we'll limit that search to only within the examples travel folder. And we have a full list of all search results. Click on a line, and then that opens that list at that location. Click the clear button, and we can also click copy if we want to use that text somewhere else. These left and right buttons here are for navigation history. We can jump back to the previous file where we were, or jump forward again. Another way to jump is to hover over one of these blue list links, which, to go into some detail, means that the full contents of that list will be seamlessly placed here in the final generated checklist. And in this case, since there is this luggage text contained in the brackets, those list contents will all be indented underneath the header luggage. Click the link and it jumps into that list, which is mostly right up to line 30 here. The purpose is just to assign text label to the variable bag description, which then on line 42 with a $sign will print that text in the final list so that we have this custom header depending on which bag we want to take. Let's go back to the main, then into a list for post-travel tasks. We'll add a task to verify frequent flyer miles for a trip. Fix that. And some random lines. An indent level is 2 spaces, and the tab key a basis rule. We can highlight all 3 of these lines and click tab to indent them, or shift tab to unindent if we want. Indenting them under the header line makes them part of that category, and they can be hidden in the result checklist if desired. Undo all of that. There's also auto-completion available, which is useful for some of the variable names which can be long. Pressing Control Space gives auto-completion options. Press Enter to accept. Let's finish this video with a quick look at the list browser on the left. In the list browser, we see folders, which have arrows in front of them, which can be expanded with the down arrow or collapsed. Clicking on any list will open it in the editor. Notice that the open list is in bold with a dot in front of it. There's also a dot trail that leads through any folders back to the base folder to show the path trail of the opened list. There are a few buttons below the browser to expand all folders or collapse all of them. And of course we can scroll up and down or horizontally to see some of the longer list names. If necessary, the refresh button rereads all lists and folders and resets the display. Setting the main list is a necessary step to set the starting point where the checklist will be generated and from where all lists will originate from. This is covered in detail elsewhere, but notice that the main list is highlighted in green. Also, note that it's just a coincidence that the file we are selecting is also called main. As with the dot trail, all folders in the path to the selected main list are highlighted in green. So that's everything to cover for an overview of the editor. But there's a link here for the next editor video that covers the advanced authoring tools at the bottom.